Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Dima Tutorials. Dima Tutorials, as you already know, is an educational channel on YouTube, Facebook, and on TikTok. And what I do is to help students preparing for the exams on use of English. Though we have lessons for other subjects, chemistry, physics, mathematics, but they are available for our inner circle students. So today I want us to look at some questions from JAMB UTME past questions on oral English. And you know your exams, you are going to answer questions on oral English, and particularly level stress or stress pattern. So let's look at how you can answer some syllable stress questions, okay, with these two questions from JAMB UTME 2008 past questions. JAMB UTME 2008 past questions. All right, we have choose the appropriate stress pattern from the options. Choose the appropriate stress pattern from the options. We have xenophobia. The first word is xenophobia. Xenophobia. Okay, we have option A, the stress is on the first level, second, option B, second level, option C, third level, and option D, fourth level. So how can we stress xenophobia? Which of these levels should have the primary stress? Now, this is how to stress a word like this. Now, let's look at this word closely. You notice that this is a compound word. You know what I mean by a compound word? A compound word is a word that is made up of more than one word, like a word that has two words come together, three words come together to make just one word, like mother-in-law, understand, xenophobia, you understand? So when you have more than one word come together to make one word, you call such word a compound word. So this is an example of a compound word. So how do you stress a compound word? Now there is a special pattern for stressing a compound word. When you have a compound word, what you're going to do first is to look at that word closely, and there are two patterns actually that will help you in stressing compound word. First, you have to look at the words closely, then identify the word that is actually the main word, the main word of the word, okay, the compound word, the main word of the compound word. Let's take, for example, we have xenophobia here. Xenophobia. Xeno means alien, it means foreigners, okay. Phobia means fear, okay. Now xenophobia means fear of foreigners, all right. So xeno is telling you more about the fear, the phobia, the kind of fear, okay. So xeno here is not the main word. The main word is phobia. So we are going to focus on phobia. The stress syllable should be on phobia, okay, because that's the main word. Now let's look at phobia. Phobia has two syllables, right? It has two syllables. So phobia now, is it a noun or a verb? Is it a noun or a verb? Is it a doing word or the name of something? Okay. Now phobia is a noun. Is the name of a state of mind, right? Is a noun, is the name of a state of mind. So phobia is a noun. How do you stress a two-syllable word that is a noun? How do you stress? I believe you should already know it, okay? If you're going to take JAMB UTM, you should already know this. These are basic things you should know. All right, so when you have a noun that contains two syllables, the stress is more likely going to be on the first syllable. Okay, it's more likely going to be on the first level, and there are exceptions. There are exceptions, but the exceptions are not what I'm going to discuss today in this video. Maybe in another video or in our classes, in our JAMB UTME online classes, I'll discuss that with the students. But most times, okay, most times we have the stress on the first level of a noun, okay, that has two syllables. A noun that has two syllables, most times the stress is on the first level. So phobia has its stress on PHO, which is the first level of the word phobia. So it has the stress on PHO. So xenophobia has its stress on PHO. So which of the options is correct? Is it xeno, B, C? Yeah, option C is the correct answer. Option C is the correct answer. We have xenophobia with the stress on PHO. All right, let's see the second one. We have photography. Oh, this is very simple. Photography. All right. We have in the first option, the stress is on the second level. In the second option, the stress is on the first level. In the third option, the stress is on the third level. And in the fourth option, we have the stress on the last level. Now, how do you stress photography? All right. Now you use the termination method. Okay. Now you look at the termination of the word. Now, a word that starts, a word that ends with phy, a word that ends with cy, a word that ends with ate, a word that ends with ty, a word that ends with c. Okay, I mentioned cy already. Ly. All right. Now we have words that end with any of these letters. Words that end with any of these letters, the stress is likely going to be on the third syllable from the end, which we call antepenultimate syllable. Okay, so the stress is going to be on the third syllable from the end. Okay, now we have photography. Photography has four syllables. Photography has four syllables, so the stress is going to be on the third syllable from the end. The third syllable of the word from the end is photography. Okay, so the first letter from the end of the word photography is 1, 2, 3. T-O. Okay, the stress is on T-O. All right, the stress is on T-O. 1, 2, 3. So photography has the stress on T-O because the word ends with P-H-Y. Okay, geography, topography, etc. So we have a word like that that ends with P-H-Y. Please stress the third level from the end. So which one is correct? Option A. Option A is the correct answer. Okay, so there are so many tricks, so many things. If you don't already know how to identify stress level of a word, okay, there are so many things you need to learn to enable you perfectly answer questions on stress pattern. Like you need to learn about weak vowel sounds and strong vowel sounds, how to identify the stress level of a word using terminations, how to identify three syllable words. Okay, these are things you need to learn. There are so many other things you need to learn, and I will take my time to teach those of you who are going to join our online classes, those who are going to sit for JAMB UTME watching this video and are going to join our online classes. Okay, we learn all of these things in our classes, and from what you can see on the screen, our last year students actually did well in their exams. Had a plethora of people who scored above 300 in our last year's JAMB UTME online classes. And if you are sitting for JAMB UTME in 2026, you should join our online classes. Don't miss it. If you really want to be taught and coached, if you really need people that will push you to success, don't miss the opportunity of being in our online classes. And the fee is 2,000 naira per subject per month. Okay, 2,000 naira per subject per month. And for those of you who may want to register for 4 subjects, the fee is 6,000 naira for 4 subjects. All right, so that'll be all for today. I believe you learned something new from today's video. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys again very soon in another video. Bye.